Okay, so just want to do this video just to show you what I've been up to, like knife making wise. I finally found Vanax again, which is beautiful. I got like a couple pieces. I'll do a link for anybody who's interested. It's a company called Eurotechnie. They're out in France. So the main difference from buying Vanax from them, from what I've noticed, I used to get it from Alpha Knife Supply. Here's a piece, but they haven't had any like in such a long time. But the difference is that first of all they keep the scale on, so they don't clean it up like that. I don't really mind. So this is from Alpha Knife Supply, and they leave like a super nice like finish on it, and they don't on this, but it doesn't really matter. I just did the knife. I just went over the knife and then basically got rid of sanded everything that was left. So first I just shaped the knife, which got rid of most of the scale anyways, and then afterwards I got rid of whatever was left. But yeah, so I'll do that. And then the reason I trusted this company is because I found it on Knife Steel Nerds. It's a website. I'll do a link on that one too. It's a website. So the guy who invented MagnaCut has his website, and he talks a lot about like technical stuff on steels, which is super interesting in case you have a chance. But I'll do a link on specifically. There's a part on his website where he names out a bunch of companies where you can buy steel from, and it was super helpful to me finding this. And so yeah, just in case it helps anybody too. All right. So now I'm going to talk about my project. So this is Vanax, and it's 4 millimeters thick. It has an 8-inch blade, and the handle is 4.5 inches. I decided to do a Tanto. There's a ton of benefits to having a Tanto. You do have a lot of rigidity, a lot of strength. The tip is like super strong. You have a secondary tip down here that you can slash with. It's just like there's just a lot of things that are positive about a Tanto. So I decided to make it into this to use that design, and it's going to replace the Tanto I do use for work, which is the cold steel Warcraft Tanto. One of the options I had, and I decided to go this route, is here the secondary tip. The smaller the angle, the smaller the degree on the angle, the more concentrated the more power you have on the tip, basically, the more cutting capacity you have on the secondary tip, just because you have less surface area. But I decided to go with a wider angle. It's actually wider than the cold steel, the Warcraft. The Warcraft is probably like around here, but I just wanted a more acute tip up here, and a little bit longer, a bit of a longer tip too, and also just this thing is like way thinner than the Warcraft Tanto anyway, so it's still going to be, in my mind, still going to be able to concentrate a lot of power here, but it just lets me penetrate things a little bit easier with this this tip here. The top is actually, I did start the tip like about around here, so this is all the same thickness, and then when I got to this point, about probably 1/2 inch, I started tapering it down to this tip. Other than that, I did taper the handle just a little bit. You can kind of tell there if you just follow the thickness on it. I could have tapered it a lot more, but the main reason I didn't was because of this little cutout here. I was just afraid that these two little spots which is the only thing, connecting this end piece to the rest, would be too fragile. I'm not gonna like bash anything with this end, but it's just, I want to keep things just for peace of mind as strong as I can. And I didn't really need to taper it too much just to get the weight I wanted. This ended up working out. When I did start actually making this knife, it was supposed to be about an inch or 1/2 inch shorter, my original drawing. But I gave it on purpose. I gave it more than what I needed, and then, you know, felt the weight on it. Saw how long it was. It was way too long. More than 8 inches just seems like way too long. So I got it down to what I thought was something that I could carry, which was 8 inches, and then felt the weight on it. Felt good, and then I tapered it just to give it a little bit more weight in the front, where it balances. It's actually way up here in the front from the hand. So this may seem like too much, but once I put the G10 actually weighs quite a bit. Once I put the G10 here, it should, in my mind, come up to right about here, which I think is fine. The other thing, one thing I like about longer blades is when you do have it in ice pick grip, you can feel the tip where it's at. I don't know if that makes any sense, but if you get a very small, and then depends how it's weighted too. If you get a small knife that's weighted mostly in the handle and you hold it, it just feels like you're holding like a battery or something in your hand, like a AA battery or something. But if you have something that has a long blade and it's weighted towards the tip, you get a very nice feeling where you know where the tip is at all times. When you move it around and stuff, you understand in space or whatever, in the space you're occupying, you understand where that tip is and you can control it a lot better. It just seems like that to me. So this cross here was it's an aesthetic thing, a choice. The reason is so I am going to do the saltwater test on this, and I am going to make it with this knife with G10 and G10 pins. So this should be corrosion proof. The only thing now I have to worry about from now on when I'm working on it is, so there's 2 ways you can make something that's rust proof, that's basically rust proof. Rust is by galvanic corrosion, which I talked about in one of my videos, and the other one is, I forgot what it's called, I should have looked this up, seeding, I think. Basically, if I take something that can rust and I poke this, it'll end up rusting. It's more like a superficial rust, but it'll rust where it got poked, where a piece of that material got embedded. So I got to watch out for that. And the way I'm going to do that, I'm going to sharpen this by hand on sandpaper. I showed how to do that a long time ago. So I'm just going to take sandpaper and just basically go through it and narrow this down, get it basically to an apex. Oh yeah, so the choice for this handle. So it's a coffin handle, and basically the reason I chose this was because it's kind of it's supposed to a coffin. It's a coffin. So a coffin with a cross. I am going to cut this shape out into the G10 too. So it's going to be, I'm going to be able to see through this. So the way you see it there, it's the way you're going to be able to see it originally, later on. So it's kind of just a juxtapose. I can't think of a better word. It's like opposites. So this is supposed to be like an eternal knife. I feel weird saying that, eternal. But it's supposed to be a knife that is corrosion proof, that you can bury or throw in the ocean, and 100 years from now you can take it out and it should be absolutely fine, that kind of deal. So having something that is a symbolism of mortality, juxtaposes that whole design. So I just thought it would be nice to do that. And I have here the date. This is the day I actually finished shaping it and everything, and I actually sent it out on the 3rd. So this is 8/2/21. I sent it on the 3rd, and so it took me like a month to get it back, which kind of sucks. But that's kind of the thing. That's kind of like the deal when you don't heat treat things yourself when you send it out. But yeah, but they always do a beautiful job, so I'm always glad. I'm always happy to get it when I get it back. But yeah, so yeah, that's basically it. I am gonna do later on like a video on me just, this is completely off topic, on me just shooting random stuff with the pellet rifle I just bought. Just like I got a request on shooting like wood, and I decided I'm gonna just shoot random things, but that's not gonna be until like probably the middle of this next week or probably the end of next week. So yeah, okay, all right, bye.